Our discussion for this afternoon is in continuation with the application of the normal distribution. But this time, we will be dealing with a sample this time. So last time, with our discussion about the application of normal distribution, we concentrated only with the population. So what is this central limit theorem all about? Now, let's begin with this one first. A sampling distribution of the sample mean is a distribution using the means computed from all possible random samples of a specific size taken from a population. You already know what a sample is. You already know what a population is. If the samples are randomly selected with replacement, the sample means for the greater part will be a bit different from the population mean. These differences are caused by a sampling error. So take note, a sampling error is the difference between the sample statistic and its corresponding population parameter due to the fact that the sample is not a perfect illustration of the population. So we have here our formula. As you can see in the formula, we are now given the sample mean. We need also the population mean. We have our standard deviation and, of course, our sample population. So this will be the formula. Our formula was last time, okay, it's only over the standard deviation. This time I introduced divided by the square root of the sample population. So let's apply this formula over our first example. The average cost, let's draw the normal curve as well. The average cost per household of owning a brand new car is 5,000. So where are we gonna place 5,000 in our normal curve? At the center. So I'll be placing 5,000 over here. Because again, the middle part, the center here, is where the average is located. Suppose that we randomly selected 40 households. So take note, as you can see, I'm going to be having the sample mean, the population mean, the standard deviation, and our sample. What is this 40 over here? Suppose that we randomly selected 40 households. What is 40 there?
Population mean.
It's the population mean. Does the word mean found there? In our first sentence, look at the first sentence. The average cost per household, average here means mean. So kini siyang first sentence, this 5,000 over here is the population mean. Okay? So as you can see in our problem, 5,000 is the population mean. It's the average cost per household. Now let's go to the second sentence. Suppose that we randomly select. Nagpili na ko. We randomly select. Remember the word random sampling. So what is this 40 over here? What does 40 represent over here? Kining 40 mauni ang mga gipangitaan pila ilahang household cost per household sa of owning a brand new car. So nag-collect sila sa 40 ka tao og data. So kining 40 kabuk households mao ni ato ang number of samples. There are 40 samples. Again, the 40 here, because of the word we randomly selected 40 households, the 40 there is our N. Again, that's our sample or number of sample. Now, let's go to determine the probability that the sample mean for these 40 households is more than 5,350. Or what does 5,350 represent? It represents the sample mean. So it's stated there, the sample mean for those 40 household is more than. So meaning, this is simply 5,350. That's your sample mean. Now, let's go to the next sentence. Assume that the variable is normally distributed with a standard deviation. Obviously, the standard deviation is 1,230. Now, let us first locate the sample. Again, let us first locate the sample. Now, here is my question. Where is 5,350 located in our normal curve? Is it at the right of 5,000 or is it the left of 5,000?
At the right.
At the right. So I'll be drawing a line here. This line represents the sample mean, which is 5,350. Okay? So let us now compute the z because we are looking for, go to our problem. We are looking for the probability which is more than 5,000. So which part am I going to shade? Is it the left of 5,350 or the right? The right of 5,350. Left niya or right niya?
Right.
Right. So this area over here represents more than 3,000 or 5,350. So I am going to be looking for this area over here. But before we can solve that, we need to solve this area. That's area 1. Okay? So take note, I will be solving area 1. To solve that, I need, of course, our z. So let's compute the z first using this formula over here. So our z is equal to, what is the sample mean in our given?
5,350.
5,350 minus the population mean. How much is the population mean? It's 5,000.
5,000.
Over the standard deviation, which is 1 to 30, 1,230, divided by the square root of how much is our n? 40. Okay? Now, kindly use your calculators, please. Solve everything right away. Make use of your calculators. Katong Calc ES, you can use that. And calculate, input everything right away. So I have here fraction. Then I have 5,350 minus 5,000. Then I have 1,230 divided by the square root of 40. How much do you get, by the way?
1.79, sir.
Round off ng 1.796. How much is the result?
1.80, sir.
1.80 or 1.8. I'll accept both. Okay. So this is now our z. Mao ni siya ang 1.8 nga z. Now let's go to our table of z values. So this one. Pila may value ni 1.80 or 1.8? Dara si 1.8. Pila value ni 1.8?
0.4641.
Okay, 0. So this is area 1. 0.4641. So kini nga area is this part over here. Now, how do we solve this shaded region over here?
Subtract, sir.
Subtract what?
0.50 to 0.464.
Very good. 0.50 because as you all know, kibaw namun nga kanang katungaan na 0.50 na saya. That's 50%. Minus 0.4641. How much is the difference?
0.0359, sir.
0.0359 or this is 3.59%. So this is now the probability that the sample mean for these 40 households is more than 5,350. Any questions about example number 1? Section Galileo, any questions about example number 1?
None, sir. None, sir.
Okay, let's go to example number 2. So example number 2. The average age of a car registered in the LTO. So as you can see, where am I gonna write this average age, which is in months na nga itong gamitan? 120 months. At the center. Locate that at the center. Now let's use our formula and let us now write our given, the sample mean, the population mean, the standard deviation, and the n. Now, unsa man ni si 120? What is 120 over here? Look at the first sentence. The average age. Naigibutang sample sa first sentence. Kaya kung naigibutang a word nga sample sa first sentence, then that will be the sample mean. But if in case the sentence does not contain the word sample, then that average is the population mean. Again, the sentence will tell you whether it's the population mean or the sample mean. It's the sample mean because the word sample is there in the sentence. And as you can see in the sentence nato sa first sentence, it only states average age. Walay gibutang average age sa sample. So meaning the average age here is simply the population mean, which is 120. Okay, now let's go to the second sentence. Assume that the standard deviation, as you can see, the standard deviation is 20. If a random sample of 35 cars, unsa maning 35 cars?
Sample, sir.
Done. Okay, you're in the number of sample. We have 35 over here. Find the probability that the mean of their ages, as you can see, in this sentence, there is the word sample. So meaning, kining mean gagipasabot is a sample mean. And as you can see, duha ka buok. 115 and also 129. Now let's locate 150. Where is 115 located? Is it left of 120 or right of 120?
Left, sir.
Left. So I'm gonna be locating example that's 115. What about 129?
Right, sir.
Right.
sir.
So let's have 129 over here. Example. Now, as you can see, the word between. So asa man ang i-shade na ko ana? Between 115 and 129. So meaning, sir, ako ning kuhaon nga area. Ako sa ning kuhaon nga area. Let's name this as area 1 and area 2. So I'll be adding area 1 and area 2 to solve the problem. Okay? So let's begin first with area number 1. So area 1, we have our Z formula. The sample mean, which is 115, minus the population mean, which is 120, all over the standard deviation, which is 20, divided by the square root of 35. Okay, use your calculators now. Kindly input everything to your calculator. How much is your answer, by the way?
$1.5, sir.
Is it negative or is it positive?
Negative, sir.
Negative in two decimal places lang. 1 point. Is it 148? Okay. So we have here 1.48. Now let's go to our Z table. Pangitaas si 1.48. 1.4 is over here. Yeah, 48, 5, 6, 7. There you go. Pilay atong area if ang Z 1.48.
0.4306.
Okay, 0.4306. This is area 1. Now let's go to the second area. So our Z, this time the mean sample, the sample mean is 129. The population mean is still 120. The standard deviation is still 20 divided by the square root of 35. So how much do you get when you solve this one?
Positive 2.66.
That's correct. 2.66. Okay, let's go to our Z table. 2.66. 2.6 is over here. So I'm going to be having 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the value. How much is our area for 2.66?
0.4961.
0.4961. So what are you going to do with area 1 and area 2 again to solve the area between the two ages?
Add, sir.
You add. So how much is 0.4306 plus 0.4961? This is
0.9267, sir.
Okay, or I can have 92.67%. So this will answer our question number 2. Any questions about the second example?
Answer.
Okay, let's proceed to the third example. 3.A. So the average age of number of liters of fresh milk with the person's that a person consumes rather in a month is 18 liters. So namoy nakitaan nga word sample din ha sa first sentence. Do you see the word sample in the first sentence?
No, sir.
So what is 18 here? Population mean. Okay, so I'm gonna be having 18 over here, and just like what you said, it's the population mean, which is 18. Okay, now let's go to the second sentence. Assume that the standard deviation, obviously it's 4.5, and the distribution is approximately normal. Let's go to the question. Look at the problem. Is the word sample found in letter A? Is there a word sample in letter A?
No, sir.
No. Meaning, dili di ay ni siya central limit theorem nga problem. It's our previous lesson, which is kini siya nga formula. As you can see, I'm not using the sample mean. I'm simply using a data from the population. And I do not have divided by the square root of n because this does not refer to the sample. This refers to the population. So x here is simply 16 liters. So I'll be locating 16. 16 is located before 18. And it is stated that find the probability that the person selected at random consumes more than 16 liters. So am I going to shade going to the right of 16 or going to the left of 16?
To the right,
To
sir.
the right. So meaning I'll be shading this whole part over here. Now to get this part, we need to know this area. Okay, we already know that this one is 0.50. So if we know this area over here, then we can add it to 0.50. So let's solve the z first. So we have here our z. X is 16 minus the population, which is 18, divided by 4.5. Please use your calculator. How much do you get for this?
Negative 0.44, sir.
Negative 0.44. Now, let's go to our z table. 0.44. Pila may value na 0.44 din na? Sige. We have 0.4 over here. This is 1, 2, 3. How much is our 0.44?
0.1700, sir.
0.17. So let's go back here. So the area here is 0.1700. So go back to this problem na to get the total area. This is area 1, by the way. I'm representing area 1 here. To get the total area, we need to add 0.50 and also 0.17 or 00. No problem. So how much is 0.50 plus 0.17?
0.67, sir.
Or simply 67%. So mouni ang answer sa atong problem 3.a. Questions about our third problem.
None, sir.
Okay, let's go to the last problem for this afternoon. Over here. This time, it's the same given. So still, ang average nato is 18. This is the population mean. So the same gihapon siya, this is the population mean. The standard deviation is still 4.5. Okay, look at the problem. What is 32 over here?
Sample.
Sample. So meaning ang sample nato consists of 32 individuals. Now what is the sample mean?
16, sir.
16. So I'm gonna be having 16 as well over here. Okay? So I have now our z. By the way, asa ako i-shade aning apart? Is it kaning more than 16? Is it right of 16 or left of 16? Section Galileo, asa ning more than 16 liters? Is it right or left of 16?
Right, sir.
Right, sir.
Okay, so I'll be shading this part over here. So just like what we did a while ago, I need this area. I'll mark that as area 1. And we all know that this is already 0.50. So let's solve z first. So our sample mean is 16 minus the population mean, which is 18, divided by the standard deviation 4.5. Na i-divide pa dyan sa square root sa atong sample, which is 32. Kindly use your calculator. How much do we get for this?
Negative 2.51, sir.
Negative 2.51 is right. So meaning the answer is Z is negative 2.51. Now let's go to our Z table. Pili values at 2.51.
0.4940, sir.
Okay, so ang area 1 di ay nato is 0.4940. So how do we get the total area for the shaded part?
Add, sir.
Add. So 0.50 plus 0.4940. And how much is that?
0.994, sir.
Okay. Or 99.4%.